When it comes to coming up with a business evaluation, the approach that I follow includes several steps. I normally analyze the business. What does the company do? I analyze the competition. I analyze the management team. Are they capable of making good use of the resources at their disposal to, generate profits? And also analyze the business financials, the track record, the debt, profit, and other important financial ratios. Luckily, we're not living in Benjamin Graham's time anymore, and we have powerful tools at our disposal to find and analyze business. I am a TIKR subscriber, and today I will do a review of the tool so you can find out if it's for you and if being a subscriber is really worth it. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So TIKR recently went from free to pro version, which means that now users have to pay for it if they want to use the tool to their entire extent. And to me, I was using TIKR for a while in the free version, and to me the biggest advantage was to have in the financial section was to have the entire history of the stock. For example, if I get into the balance sheet, I was able to see the history of the stock from year, for example, 2008 to 2021 for the, say, revenues, for example. And that was, to me, the biggest advantage. Now, this feature has been restricted only to pro users, and I subscribe to the pro version. And apart from that, you get other, as you can see here, you get other benefits, like, for example, you see data for more than just the US market. You have unlimited or segmented financials. You have unlimited saved screens. We will take a look at the screener as well. I don't think it's fantastic, but yeah, let's take a look. We have access to 5 years financial estimates or analyst estimates, and you have priority support that I have been able to use so far. So let's take a look at the tool and some of the features that I've been using and some of the features that I can use now as a pro user. Okay, so once you get into TIKR, the first thing that you will see is the welcome screen. Some interesting information here. You'll be able to see, market news. You can, if, for example, you are a dividend person, you can filter by the topic that you're interested on. Like, for example, I have a topic here which is exactly by dividend, so I can see dividend news. I'm not a dividend guy, but it's just an example. You can see also, typical gainers and losers of the day here in the right hand side, and also by sector, which is not, typical information that you can see in tools like Yahoo Finance and things like that. You can also create watch lists. This is something that I think is interesting. Is the paid version includes unlimited watch lists, which I think is nice. For example, you can create I have a watch list here that has no stock. So I, for example, add a TIKR for my watch list. For example, I've been recently reviewing the Activision business, so I could add that, and it will give me information about my my businesses. So I can add multiple businesses here, multiple stocks, and it will give me information about the changes from day to day, EBITDA, revenues, and anything that I can add here. So let's go to the global screener, because so far nothing really out of the ordinary. So the global screener is one of the features that is supposed to be, well, it is one of the pro features. So the question is it really worth it? In general, the UI for TIKR is not really beautiful. It's not the most beautiful UI I've seen, but it's the same thing for the global screener. So here you can see, you can filter businesses by a specific criteria. Like, for example, myself, I like to see businesses that are more than 5 billion market cap. For example, revenues increasing for the last 5 years, or since 2015, more than 5% per year. Something that I can see, I like to see as well, like this growth in companies. I like to see growth in free cash flow as well. I like to see price earnings ratio of more than 22.5, a gross profit margin, and I like to see companies that have total debt equity ratio less than 50, so that I know that they are healthy from a financial perspective. So if I fetch this screen, for instance, that will give me the results. In this case, I have about 83 stocks, 83 TIKRs that fulfill this criteria. And if I go, for example, to applied materials, which is one of them, that will take me to the company overview. So before I jump into this, the global screener, I think is good. It's not spectacular. Something I like of it, going back to the global screener, is that you can add multiple, the data or the data that you can select is just almost unlimited, and you can is categorized by different criteria, which is nice because you have so much data that you can see whatever is related to the income statement. Like for example, I can see the EBITDA here, I can see the total revenues. There's 61 categories here, 61 elements, 61 topics here. So overall 335 topics that you can filter by, which is pretty good. Although the UI is not really pretty, as I said before, but this is good. Now, if I go to specific stock, I want to see, for example, if you have seen my Activision, you haven't seen my Activision Blizzard review or evaluation, go to the link that I'm going to add to the video. But I'm going to go to Activision Blizzard, and here I can see, first of all, the overview of the information. I can see the market cap, I can see the company, general information. What I normally go is the financial section. You can see the stock price here, but I'm not particularly worried about the stock unless, for example, there are specific events. The information I like to see about the stock is the variations in the stock price. For example, if I can see here that there was a jump from 78 to 47, okay, what happened here? I can, for example, take the date. This is around October 2018. What happened at that stage? So I can go to the news and see what happened to the stock at that point. It's not so much being worried about the stock price, but being worried, or not worried, but looking at the variations. What drives the stock, right? What are the news or the events that drive the stock? Okay, going back to the income statement, one of the features that you get out of the Pro version is that you can go back as long as many years before. And why is this good? From my perspective, this is good because I like to see how companies behave in the long term, and I like to see how they behave during crisis times. And the last financial crisis that we had, it was obviously the coronavirus was a crisis, but the last financial crisis, real crisis that we had was the 2008 crisis. And I like to see how companies behave at that stage, right? And we can see here that during 2008, Activision Blizzard behaved really well. It actually grew, well, it didn't grow because it went from 124% growth to 41% growth, which is really good. And that tells me that, the company behaves well during crisis. And I do that for every single stock. So I want to see companies that behave strongly during a crisis time. Things that I can see here, if you click one of these criteria, you are able to see the, for example, total revenues, and that will plot a chart for you. Something I really like from this is that you can compare companies. Like, for example, if I go here and select Net or Tencent, which is the company I compared Activision to, I can see the comparison in terms of total revenues between Tencent and Activision by column or by line, which is really cool because, again, that gives me a comparison of two companies, which is something that you have to do when you analyze stocks. You have to compare them to the other competitors in the market. In terms of the income statement, I like to see, as I mentioned before in the previous videos, at the net income. I like to see growth in net income. And when it comes to the balance sheet, I like to see the total current assets in comparison to the total liabilities. As you know, the total current assets is the assets that the company expects to realize in the next 12 months, and I like to see that those cover the total liabilities, which is, that tells me that the company is in a very good financial situation. So if I remove the rest of the filters, revenues, net income, and I just leave assets and liabilities, Activision assets and liabilities, I can see that going to 2020, Activision has more than enough to cover all the liabilities with just the current assets, which is, again, the assets that they expect to realize in the next 12 months. Going to the cash flow statement, something I like to see is the free cash flow. Actually, as you know, the free cash flow is cash from operations minus capital expenditure, and that helps me in my discounted cash flow models. Good thing about the Pro is that this calculation is made for you. It's not a huge deal, it's just a subtraction, but when you analyze multiple stocks, it's good to have that calculation done for you. And the Pro version does it for you in the different section. In the estimates section, you have the free cash flow for any company. Ratios, very important as well. I like to see two ratios: return on equity and also total debt over equity. Another nice feature is the estimates. This is where you can see the estimates data, including free cash flow for actuals and estimates. When it's actual, you can see the A, which is past performance or past data, and when it's estimates, you can see the E here. So you can see free cash flow, which is the one that I was talking about before, is somewhere here. Yeah, free cash flow is here, and that calculation is made for you already. Something interesting as well is the calls transcripts that are already taken out of the company's website, and this is nice. Something I do as well is I look into the transcripts for the companies that I analyze, and this is all for you here in the same tool, which is great, and news as well for the company that I select. Okay, so yeah, I'm a paid user. So far, so good. The UI is not beautiful, it's not spectacular. As you can see here, it's very simplistic. It gives you the data, it gives you what you need. I will do another comparison. I'm a Simply Wall Street subscriber as well, and there are two completely different tools for probably different type of users. I will do a review, and for now, if you like this video, just thumbs up, like the video, and subscribe. So thank you very much, and see you soon.